So, hello and welcome in the Power Awakening podcast, Kjetil. And why we are here is because the Power Awakening podcast is made to help people to find some tools for their inner work. So with my guests, I will talk about their life stories and how they overcome difficulties, how they become success. We will talk about what success in life is. And we record this podcast in the Conduit Oslo Club. And just to be sure, I read up the correct text from this script is: the Conduit Oslo make meaningful connections and contribute to positive change. So this is the promotion part. And I really like this place because here people really work on positive changes, not just talk about it. Mm-hmm. So I'm really glad to be here. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful doing this podcast with you here because you are working on also to do positive changes in the world and around us, basically. Mm-hmm. So how we met first time, and I felt a calm and positive energy on you. We didn't talk yet, but I just felt like this person is like, I feel he's a good person. And once you started to talk about yourself, I just felt like, okay, so my feeling was good about you. And then I attended on your workshops and events, and I just also felt like, okay, these teachings and what I felt during these events, it just makes me 100% clear like it's the right place to be with you and those who's with you. So when I was thinking about the podcast, it was on my top priority to talk with you, to sit down and talk. So for those who don't know you yet, can you tell what do you do in daily life? Who are you? So they can get some idea.
Yeah. So first of all, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I feel you're such a kind soul who wants to do good work. And we actually met the first time in the wardrobe in the spa.
Yeah.
In the well. We talked the first time. We just had a sauna together before that. Sauna ritual. Yeah. And both me and my wife, we noticed you and said, this is an interesting guy. Yeah, we liked your energy. So we are, what I do together with my wife, we are Saami, indigenous people from the north of Norway. She's from the north of Sweden. And what we do is, we do different things. But the essence of it is to help people awaken and become more authentic and aligned with their soul purpose on this planet. So why are we here? It's the big question. Why are we here? And what's my talents? What's my mission? It's the reason I'm here on this planet right now, in this body. So we help people to understand that and to overcome difficulties like traumas and patterns and past difficulties from the life lived. Most of us have a history, and we kind of tend to get stuck in the history or in the patterns of our family line and the society we grew up in. And these days, many of us is awakening, and we see that the way we live our life is not sustainable. It's not sustainable in a physical way, and it's not sustainable on a soul level either. It's like we're suppressing our soul urges and becoming this, living this unconscious life. We're just living like we're told to live in a way.
Yes.
It's a I don't know the English word, pawn maybe in a game. Yeah. So we work with shamanism, Saami shamanism, and also contemporary shamanism. I've traveled all around the world to find different tools after I had an awakening almost 20 years ago now. And one of my greatest tools is the craniosacral work. So we call it touching the soul, or it's listening to the soul, listening to the body, listening to the energy, and helping people to flow, helping people to heal traumas, and to open up the heart and open up the body, and getting the soul energy to flow. We can say that's a short way of doing it, but we have many tools how we do it. So I work with all kinds of people. I work with many people in the alternative world, but I also work with business leaders and politicians and all kinds of people who wants to do change in this world, you can say. And I just came now from a ceremony by the Akerselva River. We had a water ceremony there, and because we're opening up a new center in Oslo, it's a House of Consciousness, it's called. It's 4,500 square meters with conscious people coming together, all kinds of businesses and practices. And we're coming together, we're creating a co-working space, a community that is going to be like a nest for change.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's things I do, is bringing people together. I'm a mentor, a therapist, a healer, a coach, a teacher. I have many names. Yeah.
Wow. So now everybody have a clear picture for sure.
Yeah. Maybe.
yeah. Because if I would just say you are a Saami shaman, then many people still don't know what shaman means, but it means all this basically.
Yeah. The word shaman itself can be a little bit difficult in the modern times, because traditionally everyone knew what the shaman was in the community, in the indigenous community. We had specific roles, we were leaders, and we were ceremonial leaders, we were political leaders, we were the ones who guiding the small community. Every small community had a shaman originally, but in the modern times it's different. We work on so many different levels, and we are all different. We find different ways of working. And so for me it's been challenging but important to bring the traditional values of this work into the modern world. So I see myself more as a translator. I translate the language of the spirit into a modern society in a way. Yeah.
Beautiful. And if you don't mind, I would go into the middle of the para-awakening topic.
Yes.
Because with Carl Hall, you had a podcast maybe end of last year.
Yeah.
Was it recorded? Yeah. I will have the link below this podcast so people can check what topics we are connecting in this podcast. So it can be a kind of extended version of that one.
Yeah.
It was a very good podcast. So it gave me a lot of idea what to talk about. And since our listeners, I think they are from teenage age until 60, 70, who knows. Hopefully it will be a very wide audience in the near future. And also people with children. So I would ask you to mention certain parts of your life. I will have some notes to go to the next points if it's needed, that I find it important to talk about. But we could start with the teenage age or even the childhood. When do you remember that you had some power loss because of any circumstances? And if you remember, what helped you to stand up and feel power, feel good, then we could start from there and going up to the age where you are now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will have enough time for that.
Yeah. So since this is a podcast where we want to give people tools, I would like to take just a few minutes for us to really connect first, if it's okay. So we just close our eyes, take a few deep breaths, and just breathe into the belly. Just noticing how is your breath today, because the breath is the easiest tool to get in touch with spirit, get in touch with your power. It's the most direct and easy tool we have. I will tell you why later, but just take a few deep breaths down into your belly. And relax the face, the chest and the belly, and the shoulders and neck. And you can feel the water inside of you, your emotions and thoughts, everything is just settling a little bit more. We're connecting a little bit more to the inside space, to the water inside us, to the breath inside us, and to our body and being, to our inner nature, I will say. Now we can slowly open up the eyes again, just look around in the room. Yeah. Can you already feel the difference?
Perfect.
So simple, huh? Yeah.
Thank you. And those who's looking at this podcast, just do the same if you didn't do, and then just continue listening.
Yeah. So this is a tool I use many times every day. It's just to take time to stop and listen and connect with my inner world before, especially when we live in this modern world where we talk so much. We forget connection. And it's also easier for me to talk about my childhood when I'm connected, then I can feel it. So, yeah, I grew up in a Norwegian Saami community in the most north, as far north as you can get in Norway. And when did I have power loss? As early, before I can remember. I grew up in a kind of dysfunctional family. There was a lot of good things also. There was there was good things, but there was also many things that was not so good. So from very early age, I need to take care of myself. The grown-ups didn't know how. They were basically children themselves. Mother was 20, father was 23, I think, something, when they got me. And before I could talk, before I could remember, I was traumatized, probably. So I was living in that state of power loss my 26th first year on this planet. I also learned a lot of other things. I had an aunt who was a Nuaidi, a Saami shaman, who inspired me and taught me things. And my father always said to me, remember, you have Nuaidi blood in you. He was told by the other people when I was small that I had this Nuaidi blood, as we say in the Saami community. So he always reminded me, you have it. I didn't understand it then. I always felt strange among people. I never felt truly safe or connected with people. Probably because at very early age I was traumatized by people. who was supposed to take care of me. I don't want to go into who and when, because I don't want to talk bad about anyone, and I understand the reason for it today, so I'm not blaming anyone. Because in my view, I choose to incarnate into this family line. I choose to go into this life with all these traumas and patterns and everything that's in that family line. And because that's where I can grow. This is where I had the greatest potential to becoming who I'm supposed to be in this life.
Exactly.
So when I see it like this, it's easy to me to forgive those who hurt me when I was a child. Even, I don't say it was okay, because no child should actually become traumatized or hurt, but there is a meaning behind most of it if you look deeper.
It's a game changer, yeah.
Yeah, and then we can say, yeah, but what about all the kids in Gaza and the war and everything? No, it doesn't seem like it's a meaning behind it. But when we come to this world of awakening and self-growth and working with ourselves, we need to have something to work on. So we need to adapt that concept that it's a meaning. If not, what? So the first time I really could remember this powerful connection with something bigger than myself, I think I was only 5 or 6 years old. And I was curious. I didn't understand it, what it was then, but I felt amazing when I was alone in nature. I felt totally different. When I was with people, I felt unsafe. When I was in nature, I felt safe. So I used nature as a place where I went to feel safe and to be myself and to connect with myself without understanding it consciously at that point, but now I understand it. Yeah. And yeah, when I was 9 years, I think, I had like a tumor here in my skull. There's a little knot here still. It was growing out here. But my father, they didn't take me to the doctor, took me to my aunt, who was an ID, a healer, a Saami healer and shaman. And she did a ritual with me and blessed it, and yeah. And after a couple of weeks, it was gone. I still have this small knot here to remember, but that did something with me that was very profound. I can't explain it, but it opened me up somehow to some kind of mystery of life. But when you're so young, you're not really reflecting about it. And I had a really rough time at school. I didn't fit into the society. We moved a lot around in different small cities in the north. I was half Saami, half Norwegian. I couldn't kind of fit in really any place. So I kind of get caught up in the hardship of life at early age. And yeah, all the time nature was my free space. I went back to nature.
So you got the power back, or recharged, balanced out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to the mountains and the trees and the northern light. Not like talking like we do now, but in a different way. And so when I was open in nature, but when I went into the human world, I was closed. And I became more and more closed. And at early age, I started to fight at school. Someone bullied me and I fought back. And then at one point, I became a bully myself because I had enough, you know. And yeah, it continued like that many years of my childhood. And what saved me was nature, but also sports. I was doing a lot of sports: football, handball, martial arts, slalom. I did different sports, and I was good at it because I was strong and I was powerful, and and so that saved me, I think.
Yeah, that's when you mentioned this in Carl Hart's podcast, I felt like actually we have similar past in this case because just the same. I remember of my childhood like 70% or 80 in the nature outside and then 20-30 at home. So that was all, and sport. And so in the 70% I also had the sport outside, even with just bicycling or in the school, all kinds of sport programs. So yeah, then it can be a good tool for parents with difficulties, children to do something like this outside or in the nature. No?
I think it's important for children to get to move and to challenge themselves. And maybe some of the sports environment is kind of unhealthy with all the competition all the time. But I think it's good because you get the energy out somehow. You know, from we're 6 years old, we're told to sit still on a chair and listen to a teacher or looking at a screen to learn something, and it's very rigid. And more children are not fitting into that system. And so when children reach for connection and they don't get connection, they get insecure and they get restless and they do all kinds of stuff to get connection. And today we, instead of reaching for the connection, especially in school, we kind of put on play, say, be quiet, shut up, listen, and that creates a lot of unbalance in the children, sickness and depression, anxiety, and all kinds of unbalances. So I think it's really important to look at the society we live in today, where we're asked to sit still so much as a child, and to give them arenas where they can move, where they can play, where they can challenge themselves. It's so important.
Also learning losing a battle and then training more to win.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best I learned.
Yeah.
Because every loss of top positions just made me like feel like I need to train more. Next time I have to be better and all this. So it was not like a big loss, but I felt like I need to be better. It's like a healthy way of living, basically. Not like in the current state of mind of people, like I need more followers to be better, and if I have more followers I'm better.
It's crazy. And when we grew up, at least when I grew up, and we were playing outside most of the time. We were bicycling and went into the woods. Parents had no idea where we were.
Yes.
Now there are no children in the streets anymore. Because it seems they sit inside and they sit on the screen and they are inactive. And maybe a lot of people go to football and different sports, but that's like 1 or 2 hours a week. We were moving all the time as children. And I think that's the most important thing to get the energy flowing, is to move around, to challenge yourself, and especially in nature, because we are nature. And we tend to forget that we put ourselves in this bubble, the human life bubble, and we cut away nature. Nature is just something we visit sometimes. But how I grew up really in the Saami community especially, it was like we are a part of nature. And so it's not something we visit, because we are all the time nature. And I think that's a consciousness that is lost in modern society.
And it's getting more lost because lots of unconscious people just give the iPad and the phone to kids just to be busy with that, be quiet, don't disturb. And they're happy that they don't disturb, they're quiet. But since they live unconscious, they don't know what they do. And what they do is basically program the kid's mind using the phone to just be distracted, just to get lost in whatever they do, watching videos or YouTube or whatever. So yeah, we will have a lot of work to balance this out, I know. So I'm very grateful to meet those who are really good healers, who not misleading people but leading people to the good direction. And nature is one of the key element to be connected to. So that's why city life is also dangerous, because here families just sometimes go out to the nature, like hiking a little bit, go back, and phone and school afterwards. So it's, yeah, cities are dangerous if people are unconscious.
It's, it's, it's not sustainable the way we live in modern society. So, yeah. I don't think it takes too much to change it, but I think we need. It's like I many times say that what's supposed to happen anyway. Yeah. So there is free will, but there is also destiny in a way, and everything goes in waves, and and we've been into the dark ages, and we're about to awaken now, collectively. And I think when one people, our job is to inspire other people to live not like we live, but to live as their soul wish to live. Yeah. And I don't know what that means for you or for someone else, but I'm here to inspire that.
Moving in the time towards to your teenage, when did you had these power losses there, and how did you recover, or how did you get back to power in that stage of your life?
I was not so conscious about it at that time, but I experienced a lot of trouble as a teenager. I started drinking. I was start drinking a lot of alcohol first, and then late teenager started with experiment with different kind of drugs. Then I get into psychedelics, and that was maybe what saved me in a way. But I think when you start using alcohol or drugs to escape your life, there's a big power loss there. And I don't know, I had always a lot of energy. I was always strong as a kid. So even if I was living very unbalanced, I didn't feel weak at any point. I maybe felt lost, and my mind was not on the right place. But at that time, I didn't think like that. So I don't know, I can't pinpoint when I had this power loss. It was many situations, of course. Many traumatic incidences that happened. Yeah.
And you mentioned the psychedelics. How that experience helped you in that time?
In the north, we have like a psychedelic mushroom that I tried when I was quite in my late teenagers, and it opened my mind for something else. That the world was not what I thought it was. In a way, I remember glimpses of this when I was younger. This connection to nature and to spirit, to energy, and when we took these mushrooms, I could really understand. I could really understand that life was about something else. It was something there was deeper dimensions that we couldn't experience in our daily consciousness. So it was like small openings. There was door openings, but then I continued with my life, and I was working as a DJ, and I was in that environment where we were partying a lot, and so this consciousness went fast away. Yeah, and I continued like that for a while, and when I was 22 I got my first child. Then I had to, like we talked about, I had to get my shit together. I had to stop using drugs and drinking, and I had to get a job. But then I got caught up in this matrix of living the normal life and having all these goals, having this nice job, have a nice house, you know, earning the money, this hamster wheel that most people are running in. And I had, I felt like I was losing myself more and more because I was searching for, if I go to the essence of it, I was searching for confirmation from outside. I was searching for someone to tell me I was a good person, or someone to tell me that, oh no, you did good, you know, because I've done so many things in my youth that was not good in a way. So I was kind of longing for this. So everything I started doing in the beginning of the 20s, the success I had in business and becoming a leader and everything, it was a search for, I don't find the right word, but confirmation, someone telling you, search for value. Yeah, search for value.
And success,
success
in a way, to show others that you succeeded in life, kind of.
Yeah. Because I heard so many times that it's not going to be anything of you. Like the teachers even said to me, Kjetil, you're a troublemaker. You're never going to make it. So in the back of my head, this voice was driving me to show them that, yes, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to do something.
So even it is not the best programming of mine, telling this for someone,
no,
it can be a fuel to move somebody further, at least. No?
Yeah, I worked with thousands of people, and a lot of people with so much success in all kinds of areas, as a business, as a therapist, as a healer, as a politician, investors, and so. And what I see is what drives them are childhood traumas. Everyone almost is driven by childhood traumas to their success. So their shadows become the fuel for the success. Until you wake up and you see, oh, the trauma was driving me. What? And then you start working on yourself. You start working on your traumas and forgiving, and then you're there. And when the trauma is not driving you anymore, what then? Then you have to find another source of inspiration, and that I will say is maybe a different way of life. Yeah, because then you start to connect with your soul purpose in a different way.
Yeah, it was very important in the beginning. You said that you had young parents, and you learned to forgive for the things you experienced as a kid. And many people who didn't work with all their topics yet, they just scratch the surface of the traumas and everything, and in the beginning they feel like, my parents, and pointing the fingers. But if you think about it, that they had no access for mindfulness, psychology that time, and the internet that we have at the moment, they were as they were, and they just got what they got from the previous generations. Yeah, we can gain an understanding of that whole story.
Yes.
And even if it's not good, we can understand, like, if I would be in that age with a kid, probably I would make a lot of mistake like that too.
Just ask my oldest son. I got him when I was 22. He's still working on forgiving me. Yeah, I did so many mistakes. Yeah.
So I think in working in ourselves, it's one of the top priority to gain this understanding. Like, working on traumas, it's okay, but forgiving, it's also very important. And I used to tell to people their traumas can be their superpower if they go through and every single thing is possible and needed, learn from it, because they can help others to basically do the same. So they can become healer by healing themselves first, or just help others easily.
Yeah, but we all start out as you know what drives us to change most of the time is the suffering, right?
Yeah.
We are in suffering, and at one point we meet the wall, probably because the suffering is too much, and something has to break, and then we start to awaken. But the traumas, if we can go into looking what is the trauma is arrested energy, right? It's energy, life force, life energy that was stopped in a way. So it was condensed into our body somehow, or maybe lost on the timeline somewhere. And in the beginning we are wounded healers. We don't know what to do, you know. So we, even if we want to help the world, we want to do good, we still carry our own wounds. Yeah. And it takes time to collect all the energy we have lost on the timeline, or locked away in bunkers in our body almost. We have to find the right keys to do it. So it's like when I was younger, I was kind of blaming people for this and this and this and this, but and that's because we don't want to take responsibility ourselves. Because if I was let down by someone when I was a kid, I want these people to fix it. That's natural, you know, first. But they will never fix it. So now I'm a grown-up person, so now I need to self-parent. It's not my parents' job anymore. My job for me is to forgive them and then take responsibility for my wounds. And how do I do that? That's the question. How can I take responsibility for my wounds? Because that seems to be the major problem in today's society, is that we run around like 30, 40, 50 years old children. You know, our emotional state is, we're still that 3 years old traumatized kid, or this 11 years old traumatized girl, or whatever, and our emotional level stops there because the trauma stops the growth. So even if the psyche and the mind and the body grows up, the emotional body doesn't. So we get this disconnection inside us, you know. So even we can sit here and have a grown-up conversation, but if we haven't worked on ourselves and take full responsibility for ourselves, if I poke you, then this 3 years old will come.
Triggered.
Yeah, and then the fight will start, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is how can we inspire people to take responsibility for the inner child, I think. I think that's the question. Yeah. Yeah. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if we go off topic now or not, but
It was a good ending of the first part. Perfect, yeah. Okay, so now we have a little break and continue with this topic.